Hello Internet, I'm Guy. This is my third steampunk 3D kit puzzle that I've assembled. This is supposed to be a mayfly, and I really like it. I've had a lot of fun building it, and so I'm going to jump right in and start building it now. So this is the parts layout, and what I'm going to do is place all the parts on my workbench first to get them all organized. This is known as knolling, and now here's my first page. So I'm going to jump right in. Okay, as you can see, I've got all the parts laid out, including the big ones over on the right, and everything else according to their map, which is inside the second to last page here. So, yeah, this is what we're building. And here's page 1. So, section 1, page 1. Now I know where to find all the parts. It's going to be so quick and easy to work through this. So, I just have to find all of these parts and screw them together. Okay, I moved everything back out of the way a little bit so I can use this area as my deployment section for laying out the parts that I'm going to assemble in step 1 here. So reading from left to right here, step 1, I need an M2 and a T5. Okay, so let me put those together and we'll have the beginning first assembly here. Okay, here's where it gets really crazy because this bolt has to go in there, which the screwdriver barely goes into, and then I've got a nut that I've already gripped with these ceramic tweezers, which I happen to have. I'm holding that nut there to tighten it, and then I'm screwing that down, and apparently that's about where it goes, something like that. So I had to use multiple tools here. I used a hemostat here to hold this part, and my pan of ice bench vise here. So they just provided you with these and this, and they expect you to assemble this? Seriously? You need real tools. This is crazy. I cannot begin to tell you how complicated it was to assemble all of these parts into this part. So let me just grab this with my hemostat carefully so I can show it to you as a complete assembly. So these are magnets. There's 3 magnets, one here, one there, and one somewhere else in there. I mean, it's insane. But the thing is, it's designed to stand like that, right? That's the whole point there. According to their drawing right here, it's supposed to be like that. And I think I got it. All right, so this picture looks like that, or vice versa. So I had to add this head part to the body part, or whatever the heck you want to call these parts. But gosh, this stuff is tiny. I think this is the most parts I've ever assembled in one sequence here. So I'm up to N4. I've installed that right here, and now I've got to get F4 here. So I'm going to cut this off with scissors, which is the third option of how you open these bags. And I'm going to put F4 on there. I guess it goes that way. Yep, I think so. And then I've got to go to a C10. All right, got that right here. Let's get that open. And it says only one C10, I believe. Let's see. Yes, so I'm going to get one out of there. Put that other one aside. And this one goes pointing inwards, like that, so it fits in there. Kind of neat how that fits in there, actually. And so it goes. All right, that is quite a complicated assembly. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 parts that all had to go into that. So, yes, check, got that one done. Ooh, shiny. Fun diffraction grading material for the wings here. I hope I have this little detail done right in here. I'm not sure if I've got this right, but I'll find out when I get to do the final assembly. Okay, so I'm up to step 19 of 28 altogether. So I've got the head / body, I've got the tail, and I've got 2 beautiful wings here. Well, here's something unexpected. I just finished assembling the base to this little part that I'd made before, and then the springy part that holds up the whole dragonfly. So that's what the assembly looks like. And here we are. But what I didn't expect was that this is a tiny little flashlight. So if you tighten this down, it's a color changing LED. I don't know whether you can see that turning red and then green, and I'm imagining blue, yes. So who knew that you could make a flashlight that small? Well, I guess I did because I'm an electrical engineer. But there's a tiny, tiny little coin battery, well, smaller than a coin battery, a hearing aid battery, I guess, running this little LED. So that's going to really add some charm to this piece. I just didn't expect that at all. Really nice. So there it is shining onto my hand. I think you can barely see that. Yeah, there's a little bit of red light there. Okay, so now I'm beginning to understand why there are all these little magnets everywhere here. It just goes plump like that. So you can just assemble the tail onto the body of the thing, and you can also just take it apart again. These are really nice little countersunk magnets. So the screw goes in there with a countersunk screw and bolts onto there. So I'm assuming the next step is to put the wings right on here. In fact, I did cheat and look ahead. So let's just kind of slide this over here. And so let's see. This would probably go like that. Oh, so easy. And this would go, oh, I've got to turn this around a little bit. Boom. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so here we are a little bit further pulled back so you can see the whole thing. And this is all adjustable with the magnets. These can swivel a little bit like that, but I can decide what angle I want these to catch the light. And wow, this is looking beautiful. So I think the final step is to put it up on the base. And the final step, taking the completed dragonfly and sticking it onto the top magnet. Did I get that right? Not quite. There we go. And so now I can turn this on and see the color changing light. Let me see if I can turn off some lights and make it look magical here. Right, so you're seeing the reflection there in the dichroic, and this little light is barely bright enough. I don't know whether it'll be really noticeable unless it's in a very dark room. Let me just turn it over this way to see if you can see it catching the light. You can see it's lighting my finger there. It's not a very bright light. It is catching on the wings, but I'm not complaining. I think this is beautiful. Really fun project. And also, of course, I get a ton of spare parts here, most of which I have no use for, but I did get these two magnets here. There's one inside the bag here and one outside. These are countersunk magnets, and these are really handy to have around. So those are going in my magnet collection. But aside from that, I am pretty pleased with this.